Financial stability is probably the first and foremost thing that regulation around finance has been for a couple of centuries. It's how do we make sure that the banks have backing when they take the money in-house, and how do we make sure that we don't have calamitous thing. And even before fiat currency, well before fiat currencies, we had economic cycles that had boom and bust. Like in the 17th century, the tulip bulb craze. The tulip bulbs in Holland, I guess. But we also had incredible boom and bust periods around the South Sea, the stock companies that were being created over exploration and so forth. Protecting the public, just as we've talked about in blockchain. I would say that non-blockchain, there's a lot more emphasis on consumer protection. Tremendous amount of emphasis on consumer protection. Of course, we've talked about investor protection and so forth. The illicit activity conversation we've had all around blockchain is important around finance, but it's not the leading, it's not the tip of the spear. It's not where this debate has been over the decades or centuries. It's frankly more something in the last 30 or 40 years. As money has moved to digitized electronic means, governments have stood up more emphasis on anti-money laundering laws, Bank Secrecy Act laws, and the like. But if you look at the history of like 19th century or early 20th century financial regulation, there was a little bit about guarding against illicit activity. But by and large, most of the regulatory regimes, even in the 1930s, during the financial crisis of its time, the Great Depression, most of it was about bank runs, shoring up the banking system, standing up deposit insurance, and protecting the investors. And it was this concept of money laundering and so forth. It's when we moved from physical forms of cash to electronic forms that you found more of that.
Funny.
It nibbles. You see all of this? This is every financial transaction Ellingson conducts, yeah? From $1 million deals to the $10 that some guy pays for gas.
The worm eats a few cents from each transaction.
No one's caught it because the money isn't really gone. It's just data being shifted around.
All right.